you need to know about social judgment theory. At the peak of controversy was the anti-terror bill in June and July this year. The bill's passage into law sparked the clash of different point of views and political opinions, especially in social media. One side believed and strongly pointed out that this is a remedy to the continuous surge of terrorism in our country, while on the contrary, another side expressed their rage and went to the streets to fight against this bill, which in fact was actually unconstitutional as it goes against even the basic human rights, not to mention its breach to the press freedom. These opposing sides, which are the most evident, are only two of the many unheard arguing sides when talking about anti-terror law's constitutionality. This shows the polarization between perspectives. Makes you wonder, why do people react so differently despite being given the same issue? Let's get into today's topic, social judgment theory, and learn more about this phenomenon. The social judgment theory originated in the 1960s when social psychologist Muzaffar Sharif, together with his spouse Caroline Sharif and Gar Hovland, was trying to understand if everyone hears the same thing presented exactly the same way to them. Why do we all take a different meaning from it? But what exactly is social judgment? Social judgment is the process of perception and judgment based on one's attitude when an individual receives a specific message. It is a theory that mainly focuses on the internal process of a person's own judgment in regards to the relationship within a communicated message. To better understand the theory, take for instance this example. We have two characters, Ray and Michelle, who have been married for 12 years and have been trying to get pregnant for 10 years now. They just found out that Ray is infertile and is the reason why they can't get pregnant. Now, Ray wants to adopt a child and should persuade Michelle to get to do so. Under the SJT, we decided where the message we received fits within our current attitude. Most of the time, where that attitude falls is actually within a range, which can be categorized in different latitudes. One is the latitude of acceptance, which is the range of ideas that a person sees as reasonable or worthy of consideration. Next is the latitude of rejection, which is the range of ideas that a person sees as unreasonable or objectionable. And in between is the latitude of non-commitment, which is the range of ideas that a person sees as neither acceptable nor questionable. Going back to Michelle and Ray, Ray should persuade his wife to get an adoption. Michelle's judgmental anchor is in the latitude of non-commitment as of now. This anchor corresponds to where she stands in the case of adoption. She is neither accepting the idea because she fears failing again, nor rejecting it because she also really wants to have a child. Hypothetically, there are two possible end results to Ray's persuasion. One, having Michelle's judgmental anchor slide to the latitude of acceptance and go with Ray's idea of adopting a child. Then, Michelle could get agitated with Ray's persuasion and switch to the latitude of rejection. This phenomenon is what we call the boomerang effect, in which the subject persuasion gets further away than what Ray intended her to be. To persuade Michelle to move her anchor to the latitude of acceptance, Ray should hit her ego involvement and give her assurance that this trial will be successful and they will finally realize their dream and vision of having a whole family. After all the persuasions from Ray, Michelle finally agrees and switches to the latitude of acceptance. After having patience of what Ray promises and reassures her. Like what Ray did, social judgment theory can also be used by any of us to persuade people into going away and siding our side. But always keep in mind and take into consideration on how, when, and to whom would you use this persuasion process.